Imagine growing up in a time when the internet didn't exist, phones were attached to walls, and screen time meant sitting too close to the TV. If you grew up in the 1970s, your brain was wired a little differently, and honestly, that explains a lot. Let's talk about the psychology of people who grew up in the 1970s, because this generation is a fascinating mix of calm survival instincts, low-key chaos, and we'll figure it out. Energy. First of all, people from the 70s are insanely independent. Why? Because nobody was hovering over them. Kids didn't have GPS tracking, hourly checking calls, or parents asking, "Did you eat?" every 2 minutes. You just left the house in the morning, maybe told your mom "I'm going out," and came back when the streetlights turned on. If you were late, you didn't text. You just hoped for the best. Psychologically, this built strong self-reliance. People from the 70s learned early how to solve problems on their own. Bike chain broke? Fix it. Lost your way? Ask a stranger. Bored? Invent a game with a stick and a rock. That's why many of them today stay calm in situations where others panic. Their brain says, "Relax. I've survived worse." Another big trait? Emotional toughness. Life in the 70s wasn't soft and padded. You fell down, you got up. No one filmed it. No one gave you a motivational speech. Someone probably just said, "You'll be fine." And somehow you were. This doesn't mean they didn't have emotions. They just weren't encouraged to overanalyze every feeling. So today, when something goes wrong, their reaction is often, "Okay, what's the solution?" instead of "Let me spiral for 3 days." Now let's talk about their relationship with technology, or the lack of it. People who grew up in the 70s learned patience the hard way. If you wanted to watch your favorite show, you waited all week. If you missed it, that was it. Gone. Forever. No replay. No rewind. Just pain. This trained their brains to accept delay and disappointment better than most modern generations. That's why they don't lose their minds if Wi-Fi is slow for 10 seconds. Their inner voice is like, "I once waited 3 months for a letter. I'll survive." They're also great listeners. Conversations in the 70s were real, face-to-face, with eye contact and awkward silences. No scrolling. No notifications. If someone was talking, you actually listened, because there was literally nothing else to do. So today, people from this era often come across as grounded and present. When they ask, "How are you?" they actually mean it. Dangerous, I know. Here's another interesting psychological trait: strong nostalgia and emotional attachment to memories. Music from the 70s hits them differently. One song can instantly take them back to riding a bike, sitting on the floor watching TV, or hanging out with friends till sunset. Their brain links memories deeply with sound, smell, and moments, not Instagram photos. That's why they'll say things like, "Music was better back then," and honestly, for them, it was. People from the 70s also have a unique sense of humor. It's dry, observational, and slightly sarcastic. They don't need loud punchlines. A simple look, a pause, or one clever sentence is enough. Years of watching sitcoms without laugh tracks trained them well, and yes, they love making fun of modern habits. Online arguments, selfie culture, people recording their food from 5 angles, they find it all mildly confusing and secretly hilarious. Another big psychological trait is adaptability. This generation has lived through massive change, social, technological, and cultural. From black and white TVs to smartphones. From handwritten letters to instant video calls. Their brains learn to adapt without complaining too much. That's why many of them say things like, "Every generation thinks theirs is the hardest." Because they've seen change, survived it, and kept going. But let's be real, they're not perfect. People from the 70s sometimes struggle with expressing vulnerability. They were taught to be strong, not talk it out. So opening up emotionally doesn't always come naturally. But when they do care, they care deeply and consistently, not just in words, but in actions. They might not say, "I love you" 10 times a day, but they'll show up when it matters. No posts. No captions. Just presence. So if you grew up in the 1970s, your psychology was shaped by freedom, patience, resilience, and real human connection. You learned to wait, to adapt, to laugh at small problems, and to keep moving